Alright, so I'm just going to talk about Enrage systems now, looting mechanics and link that to rewards, and the future group boss that is going to be released in 2017. Again, no confirmations whether it's going to be soloable. They're thinking 1 to 5 players at the moment, but I really wanted to have a look at the current Enrage systems which we have in the game of Runescape, using, well, the two primary examples that come to mind straight away. You've got a Raxor, which is solo and duo content, and that has an Enrage system that goes up every time you kill it. It goes up a percentage, and the loot stays the same. It just gets more difficult. I'll go into that one. Then you've got Telos as well, which is a solo piece of content that's recently came out that has kill streak and an Enrage system within it and a checkpoint system. So having a look at those two as an example, and then linking it to, you know, what could we see with a group boss, what would be good. And I really want your opinions in the comment section. I think as a developer, I'd love to see something like this and see the opinions of the community. So I'm going to release mine now in this video, and then it'd be cool to hear yours and read those in the comment section. This will probably be the last video as well I create in relation to the group boss, unless there's anything major that is released information wise, because it is such a long way from completion and it's at the really early design stages. And well, I guess the obvious thing to do here is, you know, when you start the boss, potentially if you have an Enrage system, they seem to like, the developers right now seem to like creating bosses with Enrage systems. If they were going to release it with an Enrage system, potentially it's soloable at the beginning, and then as you increase Enrage and reach checkpoints similar to Telos, you will then want to take a group in, because there'll be more mechanics unlocked at later Enrages maybe, or, you know, there'll be higher damage dealt from the boss, and you'll have to take more damage as a team, and therefore need tanks and then DPSs and things like that. They could maybe go at it with that approach, but I'm not sure on an Enrage system. Let me know your opinion on that, because I'm not quite sure on whether an Enrage system is a great way to differentiate between soloing it and grouping it. But it's just an idea at this stage, and I have no idea how they're going to approach it. It'd be really interesting to see some dev blogs from the team as it gets closer, you know, towards maybe at the end of the first quarter of next year. It'd be cool to see some dev blogs of, you know, some ideas, and it'd be really good for them to take our feedback and keep taking our feedback as a community with this boss development moving forward, to make sure that it's, you know, really right for the community. Because, you know, right now Enrage system wise in the game, you've got like two concepts. You've got a Raxor where the Enrage is there to restrict farmable content, although now people can, you know, farm a Raxor at 300% Enrage. At first they couldn't, and so it was there as an anti-farmer mechanic. With Telos, it's not really an anti-farmer mechanic as such. Supposedly if you streak and you get to higher Enrages, that's supposed to increase the drop rates. So instead of anti-farming, it actually benefits you to increase the Enrage. So there's like two concepts there: either anti-farming it, where if you go with a group, you can then keep doing it at high Enrage and then still keep getting drops within that same day or same week. It depends when it resets. Or, you know, you go with that Telos concept where you have like a checkpoint system where if you go with a group and you reach that next checkpoint, you get an increased chance of drops, for example. So yeah, it's very different ways of doing it, but they're both linked in the aspect of they have an Enrage system. Don't really want to see a kill streak mechanism in this group boss at all. I really don't, because I guess with solo you can keep doing your kill streaks. You can go back into when your sign's off cooldown and stuff like that, and when your aura's off cooldown, it's very, you know, it's very flexible in that way when you're soloing it. But in a group situation, I wouldn't really want to go and try and get a kill streak as a group. I'd rather just maybe try and unlock a checkpoint as a group, and then go in with people at a similar level. Maybe you could then help other people reach that checkpoint to then go with you. And, you know, I really want something which is really going to encourage people to take other people and, you know, get people up to maybe various checkpoints, or go with people at a similar skill level and then still be able to, you know, benefit from it. When looking at Virago, instead of an Enrage system that has a rotational concept where it is just developed over time, that as a PvM, our PvM culture is that, you know, you don't go and do Virago on a certain rotation, maybe Vitalis or Purple Bomb, unless you're doing jokes. Purple Bomb is pretty decent for that, or Trio. But, you know, in the general culture thing, there was a stage in the community where people there was a real downtime in that boss, and then all of a sudden when it was Scopulous, the seismic ones crashed by like a few mil or so, like I don't know, like 50 odd mil or something within that week, because there was just an influx of them coming into the game. Because, you know, on Jax's side, if we saw like if we saw like a graph of activity, Scopulus would just be crazily up there, and there was just that constant, you know, up and down activity with that boss. You know, the pro of that is it allows variety in the game. People will go and kill other bosses within that week and then come back to Virago, but the negative of it is that they've wasted all that development time in something which has less activity, and therefore what Telos has done is it's created a checkpoint system where new mechanics are unlocked later on, and increased difficulty is enhanced when you unlock that checkpoint. And you know, that's a good way of countering the fact of a rotational concept. So I think that's a good thing that the Jax have moved away from rotations. So I wouldn't like to see a rotational concept in the new group boss, but what could be cool is a checkpoint system, and that could differentiate between people who are going in soloing it and people who are going to go and do group PvM, because new checkpoints require so much more mechanics, and you know, they require tanking roles and things like that, as I said earlier. So I'm going to end this video here, but just before I go, I'm going to ask you guys a question. With regards to like rewards and the looting system, would you like to see the drops from this group boss, which will potentially be tier 95 weapons and gear, would you like to see this in a component concept where it will drop different components to make up an entire item, or would you like it to be a singular RNG drop that Jax transparently tell us the percentage drop chance of it, and it'll be RNG based, and it'll drop it as an entire item which you can then sell on the Grand Exchange? What's your opinions on untradeable gear as well, in terms of maybe the gear that you get would be untradeable? But yeah, I don't know. There's the argument between tradable and untradeable items. That'll have to go in the midst there. But overall, what would you like to see the items be? Component related items, or an entire RNG related item that is dropped and split across the raid team? What would you like to see? Essentially, Araxor or Telos looting mechanics compared to Virago, or if you've got any cool new ideas of what Jax could potentially do. At the moment, I've not got a strong view on it, but I would like to see an RNG. I would like to see an RNG related drop, singular item drop again in the game. Keep it simple, potentially. But let me know your opinions in the comments section. Thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.